Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I've got a 3v3 today. It's played on the random map generator. This is a team matchmaking game. So all these players probably not in teams, probably not in voice. And as you can tell, it's quite a low rated game. We've got some basic stuff. Our red team on the bottom corner. We've got Lucas, Delta and Kailyns here. Kailyns the highest rated player in the game. And on the top, we've got Troll Noob here. He's in the middle. We've got Percivius. And we've got Yen. Now, normally we watch really high-rated games, and they've got some, very long-standing players with a lot of games, a lot of experience. They make logical decisions about what's happening. They assess what their opponent's weaknesses are. They use meta strategies because they're the most effective. They use the best combinations of units that are well thought out in the community. And they have the mechanical precision to follow through on what their strategies and plans are. But this means that to within a reasonable degree, it's possible to accurately predict the outcome of the games quite easily. But that is not the case with our low-rated legends today. Literally anything can happen. Any one of them could be struck at any point with a moment of genius so brilliant that it defies all conventions. They could it's a little bit Jack Sparrowish, right? In that sometimes you do wonder when you watch these games of the low-rated players whether they are complete geniuses or they just have no idea whatsoever. And that's probably going to be the case today. So we'll have a look at our map. We've got two plateaus. This is a very turtley map, if you ask me. Probably not a lot of point of rushing on this because he's got these places here, right? This is a choke point to defend. Very easy choke point to defend here. And even if you made it up here and you were to take this, again, you've got kind of a choke point here with this terrain. I don't think there's any way across the mountains. So two kind of like choke points to hold. You're probably not going to be able to do too much aggressive spam on this map. So defending here seems possible. We've got a move out order from Lucas. He's playing in the orange UEF, a man after my own heart. Look at how wide. You ever see someone have arms so wide that it's like what, thicker than their head or their thighs? This is a man who does a lot of workouts at the gym. He's coming to the front. He's sticking down a land factory. He's going to be coming up against 3 hunters waddling across the map here. But hunters versus ACU does pretty well for the ACU. In this case, though, big brain. They are going all the way around the side. And that looks like that will catch that engineer. So that's a nice little play straight off the bat. A patrol order here from this single engineer from Percivius. Percival, obviously, seeking the grail in that purple UEF ACU. Not sure exactly. Oh, no. Builder mechs. That is a much better decision. That's good to see. So we've got 2 UEFs and a Cybrin on the top team, in the blue team. And at the bottom we've got a UEF, a Aeon, and a Seraphim. So all factions are going to be represented today. Both teams filling out the back of their mexes here, trying to make sure that they collect all the mexes. Still a few untaken here. I would have preferred the players to prioritize capturing the mexes. Remember that this T2 mex is only worth 2 additional mexes, and obviously this costs almost nothing to collect, so this is a big deal leaving these untaken. Especially when your opponents have already captured them. What effect is that having on the mass income? Well, a fair amount, not that much to be honest, but that's probably because whilst they haven't taken the back, Kailyns, the highest rated player here, has successfully taken this forward position. I expect Yen over here in the blue Cybrin to do the same. He's walking here collecting all the mechs. It's very, very sensible. Let me just put the map up for everyone. Now, because it's a map gen, the map is white. However, I'm hoping you can still see it. I am still using the enormous text for the that we were using for the tournament cast, so oh Jesus. If there are silent parts in this cast, by the way, please forgive me. It's because I will have edited out the parts of me literally dying. It's now a COVID cast because I've been ill for several weeks and don't seem to be recovering. Double ACU here at the choke point. T2 upgrade for Lucas. Kailyns, however, he's just going to stand here menacingly, like he's part of the campaign. Yeah. What he's actually doing is surveying this large Stonehenge-like rock on the horizon up there, and just making sure it's not actually an enemy unit, because it could be moving. He wants to make sure that's not a threat before they push in. Excellent accuracy from these strikers. About 5 shots, missed every single hunter. Nice raiding here from Yen. Gonna take that mechs down. We have a big difference in the mass income for the players. Look at Kailyns here, up to 50 mass income. Delta down on 20. And that's almost proportional to their... he's stalling now, but... almost proportional to their ratings. Now, our low-rated legends today are around 500. Kind of. 500-600. We've got a couple of outliers. Kailyns here is on 1k. Delta is less than 300. This is a very new player. Has not started any mechs upgrades yet. Oh no, I'm wrong. He has a T2 mechs. He does, on the other hand, have 5 idle factories. Soon to be 6 idle factories. I'm not sure exactly what he's going for with this build. But, I mean... he can make units really quickly if he wants. What's he making? Engineers. A lot of engineers. Okay. Good for you, bud. I would have really liked to see these 2 ACUs put some pressure on here, rather than letting Yen build up. Because they had 2 ACUs to 1 here. Leaving, if you're in a 3v3, you play ladder. And you get a mid slot like this, or an air slot, and you don't move your ACU forwards and make units, I feel like, even on a map like this, which is quite turtly, you're kind of doing a disservice to your team. Like, the ACU is so strong at the start. That said, he's used his ACU here to get a bit of an economic advantage. He's up to T2 air, he's making his first T2 P-gen. He's got a fair amount of mass income, 52 mass. Let's see what's going on here. No overflowing, which is great. Love to see that from our newer players. Bit of a stall there for Lucas, but he's working on more factories. Maybe he's working on his... is that gun? No, it's still his Tech 2 upgrade. That's been going for about 3 minutes, so he's taking his sweet time there. Now he goes for gun, but he hasn't really gotten any more E, so it's going to be an enormous stall. Technically, if you are going to do gun and T2, T2 is better to go first, but whenever I try to do that, I tend to get absolutely demolished by someone who rushes gun and just pushes, so do need to be careful. Oh, no. Jesus. Percivius is... look at this glorious firebase he has planned. Now, most people, when they think about making their defenses, they go, what defenses do I need according to what my opponent's doing? But not Percivius. He already knows. He is 600 steps ahead of his opponent. And he already knows exactly what he's going to need for the next 8 minutes of game time to build. So, he knows the future. That's his superpower. And I guess we'll see if Kailyns can deal with this, because that's a lot of mass. This is like multiple T3 mexes of mass he's putting into defenses here. Whilst he's doing that, and he's doing it on T1. He's doing it on T1 mexes, so... try to remember that if you're upgrading your mexes, one of these, like 2 storages here, is only going to get you like an extra 2 mass. the same price as 2 storages, you could go from T1 to T2 and get 4 mass. So it's half as efficient to build storages as it is to upgrade a mech. So he should really be assisting these now. A Janus out for Troll Noob. That is very unfortunate that firstly he revealed the Janus, and secondly he got it shot down immediately without achieving anything. Killing 4 Auroras is not a good move with that. This is quite a juicy wreck as well. Janus are fantastic S superiority fighters. They really are good. Imagine if he'd just turned up and Janus this area instead. Like, imagine the engineer kills he could get. It would almost have paid for itself. Let's check out Delta. Well, he's got a couple more T2 mexes. He's got T2 power. He's making mini chickens. It's all quite idle, though. This kind of reminds me of, like, a Age of Empires base, where you just draw a line of barracks, and then the units just gather outside. Maybe that's what's going on. This is expensive as well, by the way. Yeah, he's stalling mass pretty hard. Let's look at the intel. Well, no player's really making a front radar except for this one up here. What about Kailyns' team? Again, one front radar here. This is in a nice position. We've got some raiding fervors. The ACUs, to be honest, are quite exposed, if you ask me. He could literally get gunshipped by like 10 gunships could turn up, but I guess he's confident in his inties. I like to see Yen, by the way. Yen, right now, for the top team, is really doing great. He is being aggressive. He's making units. I don't know why he's walling off when he's also going units. If you're going to make units like this, you probably want to not wall off. You want to be the person who's being aggressive. This is a bit unfortunate. Bit of an engineer massacre here. Never mind. No, please, not all of them. No. So he really has enough units here right now to kind of just push and crush this, even with the mini chickens, because they're probably not going to be microed that well. Sorry, Delta. I just feel like you're probably a bit busy with your base, or maybe he's a really heavy micro player and he's going to micro his chickens. I don't know. Sending them in, like, in a long line like this, also not fantastic, but the terrain is actually going to mitigate some of the fire, I think. Going to get a run-by effect. This is quite a close fight. I think Yen might actually take this. The chickens retreat, so they are being microed. That's a good move from Delta. He's going to save his chickens. Now that they're here, the factories are going to provide a big hit point wall, so this is playing out about as well as he could as he withdraws. But this front brace is going to get killed, and there's a real opportunity to basically run around and murder Delta here. Oh, look at this shot! Oh, it's a money shot there. My goodness. Which one was that? One of these got so stupidly huge amount of kills. You can't get any further with these Tech 1 units now. Too many mini chickens, and this reclaim he really needs to focus on. This is another reason why Yen probably doesn't want to be the person to wall off, because he needs to go and collect that mass, really. Gun upgrade for Delta, very sensible. Always like to see players making gun. It's a bit of a massacre. A lot of mass killed on these. Well worth it. So, Delta manages to defend this push. And on the other side we have Mercies being used in an actual good way. Are Mercies low-rated meta? I don't ever see them get used. He literally fired the Mercy at the Tech 1 block and swatted it away. That's just amazing. I've never seen players really do that in my games. So for reference, I'm like 1500, which is like average. And there's almost no way that people would make a Mercy. They'd be like, no, we'll push out gunships instead. More reliable. But that Mercy was very effective. That's why I like watching the low-rated games. We've got a Flax here, and this Firebase, this is incredibly dangerous. Like, I am actually a Firebase enthusiast, and I play UEF for it, basically for the Firebase hit points. But this is not a good Firebase at all. We'll come back to this, as there are more Mercies. Is he going to fly into the Inties, though? He is. But he gets the damage. Oh, is he going to get the T2 mech? He does! Oh, he absolutely cripples it. If he'd done one here and one on the power as well. Oh, if he'd spread them. Maybe he didn't know to spread them using Shift G, but if he had done that, that would have been even more damaging. What an absolute monster, dude. This Firebase is worrying me. As a UEF enthusiast, first off, as you know, any Jedi will tell you that the high ground is important, and Lucas down here does not have the high ground. And what that means is that the projectiles that he's got here aren't actually able to fire up over that arc onto the enemy units, which means that units can sit like in this area here, and just there's nothing he can do. Now, to prevent this, he's going to make Tech 2 artillery. But that Tech 2 artillery is still going to be in the range of Tech 1 units here. We go to his view and we look at the range. The range is actually good. Did that minimum range change? Yeah, this is the range, right? So you can kill the army here, but that's a lot of mass. This is like 2,000 mass. He could get 2 Tech 2 mexes for that, which I feel like would be better. The Tech 2 arty here, though, is actually this is actually working out. Because just using Evensongs without shields like this is... Okay, the Mercies, probably not going to work out versus the shield. Or are they? Oh my goodness, because the Evensongs took down the... The shield nearly died. That's surprising. So if you have a Mercy damage dot ticking on the floor and you missile down the shield, the shield exterior will insta-kill the actual shield in here. I did not know that. Okay. Well, the RT is active. As you can see, walls are getting killed. Now, walls had quite a big change recently. The latest balance patch makes walls actually surprisingly weaker. They're killable now with units, basically. They're still annoying and they're still worth making, but they're not the invincible lines that they used to be. I think firing Mercies into this is probably a bit of a waste. So Troll Noob is up to T3 air, which makes sense. He is at the back. He's got a pretty big air grid. Let's look at our Team 2 down here. They have no air to speak of. This is a Tech 2 factory making Inties and Tech 1 scouts. All the players at the bottom went Tech 3 land, apart from Delta, who has no Tech 3 at all. But given his rating, again, he's going up to T3 mechs. Great choice for that ringed one, but you've still got these down here. Get these up to T2 first. Team 1 also kind of doing similar. They've got a lot of Tech 1 mexes here that they're not really utilizing. Up to Tech 3 power, but still on T1 mexes. 5 safe T1 mexes here, so eco-wise, things fairly close. I wouldn't expect that, but they are fairly close for different reasons. And we've got a standoff with 2 artillery bases, 2 template build artillery bases. I guess the kennels here are to keep the shield up, question mark. Why would you build kennels there? Is that to keep the shield? I don't really know. You'd be better off with a Tech 1 factory, because at least you can use those to reclaim fairly effectively if you want. This artillery, not worth it yet, but you can tell that it's paying for itself. Again, so many Tech 1 mexes. For 20 minutes into the game, in a high-rated game, you would expect these to be mostly T3 by now, or at least half T3. But a lot of Tech 1 mexes up. Troll Noob actually, I think the best eco. He's got a lot of T2 ringed mexes. Kailyns, again, he's got a lot, but he's got way more territory. Look, he's got loads of space. He's still continuing to make mercies, so we'll see if we go full meme and Yen decides to make beetles. Beetles are probably my favorite unit in the game, mostly because I love the Baneling in StarCraft. I just never really get to use beetles that well here. They just seem quite unresponsive. So, what's going on here? Well, oh, look at this target for mercies. Mercy them. No, the mercies get taken down. Very sad. They got pinged out by the enemy team. Troll Noob was paying attention. It is what it is. Now, at this point, Lucas has spent a very large amount of mass on this. Now, he does have shields, which is good. But he's very exposed, and he has 0 units, right? No units whatsoever. If he had invested this much mass, whatever this costs, I don't know, 3, 4, 5. That's like, we're probably going on for like 10k mass. If he had made that into T3 units, he could just come up here and, like, kill everything. But instead, he has a fire base and a not particularly useful position. He does have an easy get out. He can go into the water, which is pretty good for him. Now, if you read chat there, they said that mercies are bad now. I don't think that's the case. They just have a slightly different use. So mercies were changed to be a single target damage nuke into a big wide area, and you can kind of use them, as you've seen here, to ward off a big area of Tech 1 spam. You can kill off a lot of Tech 1 power. Like, landing one on here is actually worth it, right? Because it also kills the reclaim. Big brain. Are you going to kill a T3 air grid with it? No, you're not. Now, the big threat, and it's a big problem, is that Tame 1 right now have absolute air dominance in every sense. Delta has got to T3 air, but he's not producing any T3 air with it. Whereas Troll Noob has an extremely scary looking group of broadswords. This is basically enough to come down here and immediately kill Kailyns, and then probably fly all the way over here and immediately kill Lucas, and then fly home without really taking any damage. That is how much damage broadswords do. They are absolutely brutal. However, they know very little about their opponents because they're not scouting. There's no Omni, and they're not scouting. That is massive overkill, but you know what? It's fine. Again, I think probably no Shift G from these players. You can obviously, he could have selected that, all his units there, and if he had Shift clicked on all these and then hit Shift and G and enabled it, they would do 1 target each. But he might not know about that. A lot of new players don't really know about the advanced command functions, berry stuff, distributing orders, that kind of stuff. A lot of new players don't really know about that. It's, in a way, that's not really their fault. Like, the learning curve for FAF can be quite high, and the tutorial for the game doesn't really exist. So this is a very interesting choice. A lone Tech 2 artillery. We've got a movement of the broadswords, and there is a single Tech 1 anti-air defending here. So this whole base immediately deleted. Shame that the ASF weren't also brought in to defend the broadswords, but it doesn't look like... I mean, they're not even going to kill one. Lucas finishes a Tech 3 Air HQ. Yeah, you guys need SAMs everywhere now. Because you're about to die if Troll Noob is paying attention. Would have been better to kill these before you sent the units in, but you know what, it's fine. It looks like there will now be a snipe on the ACU, and only one flak. That is not going to be enough. Shield is down. Attack ping on where the ACU is. Lucas, I hope you're paying attention. You need to be walking into the water here, my friend. Because broadswords don't... Oh, no, my dude. Dude! Okay, well, you know... I want to say maybe he didn't really realize he was under attack, but maybe he was hoping to damage the broadswords with his explosion, right? So that his flak would finish them off and swing the game back into their control. Maybe. That Tech 2 army gets bounced by a formation of Ilchevos, the mini chickens. Absolutely bounced, even though it had loyalists in. Mini chickens, strong unit. The broadswords are going to continue their rampage by the looks of things. We have Rasboys being made. Is that really the best use of your funds when you have so many Tech 2 mexes, dude? Well, they lose the top right hand corner of the map. There's a lot of reclaim here now that could be collected. Again, still no anti-air. I feel like Troll Noob should be being a lot more aggressive with his gunships. He has complete air dominance. There's no mobile anti-air. There's no SAMs. He could be killing everything right now, but being quite cautious. Is that because of his lack of scouting? Yes, it is. It looks like they have made an Omni, but, you know, just make some air factories and rally them. You know, you've got the... Make some Tech 3 air scouts, my dude. He's completely dominating the play. A big chain reaction of all of these energy storages just get demolished. Still no mobile anti-air being coming out of these factories. None at all. Instead, we've got Rasboys and a GC, which will auto lose to the gunships. So one of the things you will see higher rated players do is that they will change what they're doing very quickly. If they feel like their strategy isn't working or they're at a disadvantage, they will almost immediately change their plans. That kind of flexibility is important. If you're dying to gunships, you don't want to be building Rasboys and a GC. You want to be making SAMs, you want to be building flaks. There you go, we've got some SAMs here coming. Redeemers. This is good, this is good. How many did he manage to kill? Quite a few. Most of those gunships actually slowly died. We've got a TML base up here. Percivius going for his TMLs. Was this also pre-planned? He just figured, he pre-planned his TMLs from like minute 4 in the game. I mean, one TML would have done that. There's really no need to launch 3 at it, but I guess it does go through the defenses. There is no TMD in this base at all, so going for the Omni here, this is the Omni. Difficult to see that it's an Omni because we've got the default icon pack. But the Omni and the HQ are the best targets in this base. Well, the HQ's actually here. It's going to be a very heavy Tech 3 Aeon army versus a UEF Pillar army. And not going to be as effective as you might think, because a lot of these units here, Absolvers, they actually only deal damage versus shields, and UEF are far too Chad-like to use shields. They just take the damage in the face like real men. We got Ravagers up here, so panic defense, it seems like, for Kailyns. We took control of Lucas's base. He's gone for SAMs and Ravagers. If you're going to spend any more than one Ravager, right, make a shield. Tech 1 shield, like, doubles the hit points of the Ravager for almost no additional cost. Something that if you're a beginner player and you do make PD bases, definitely make more shields. If you have 3 PDs and you want to increase your base's like power, add a shield. Don't add an additional PD. Shields are so strong. So the game settles a little bit. We've got a huge reclaim order. This is brilliant. Yen, a 600 rated player, is reclaiming from factories into this battle which he won and continuing to push, question mark. That is actually a lot of high rated players, not high, but like mid tier players don't reclaim enough. So that is the differentiator between top and mid players. We've got a Soul Ripper with the stealth disabled for Troll Noob, so he's looking to push his air advantage, which is very sensible. That GC finished, and that's going to absolutely demolish this poor Pillar Army, which looks like they're being moved into the GC. Whoa. They get fisted by the GC's paws. Now, why do I say paws? Well, that's because if you look at the GC's arms, it does actually have a paw print on there. If it stops pinging and doing so much stuff, it is actually a paw print. So this is canonically a fursuit. So just remember that next time you think about playing Aeon, and don't. Janus, the least effective single target DPS thing ever. However, this enormous bank of Ravagers, this is an absolute UEF's wet dream of PD on the base here. That is extremely pretty. Let me... Oh, the chaos! Please! Camera angle failure. The Harbs are still coming even though the GC has turned around. It would be better to just dodge with the GC, really, but... he didn't manage that. Imagine me complaining that other people miss the key moments and then, like, accidentally derping the camera at the key battle. What a shame. That army going to get mopped up by the broadswords, but the bug goes down to an ASF, a small ASF ball that Delta has managed to complete. So he is making ASF now. He does have an ASF grid. He's got a anti-nuke in the middle of it, and a massive mass farm queued as well. And this mass here has landed kind of on Kailyns' base instead, so interesting. This is way too many engineers. This is what happens when you don't move your rally point for like 10 minutes. Again, if you want to do this, you don't need to give them all one order. You could basically select all of your... let me show you. You can select all your engineers like this. Hold your attack command, and then right-click like lots of places like this. And then Shift-G, and they will all split up and go one place each. It's a great way of reclaiming. Highly recommend you learn how to do that. If you're really struggling, I can make a video on how to do it. But I don't want to. But I will do it if you really guys are really struggling. I suppose it's only fair. Reclaim-wise, this is a pretty rich area. Please, guys, please. More Ravagers. I don't think more Ravagers are the answer. Just reclaim. The air seems to have stabilized. And that's mostly because Troll Noob has not really increased his mass income for a very long time. Kailyns, on the other hand, is up to 800. He is on 2 base, but he's up to 800. Is that Rastboy related? He does have some Rastboys, so potentially. He's got quite a few Rastboys, actually. He's got a lot of Rastboys. That's probably the difference here. So Team 1 on 850. Team 2 just breaking 1k. So it's potential that we have to see... comes another TML strike. Not going to make it through thanks to these volcanoes. Aeon TMD very strong against multiple TMLs. That said, look at the damage these have done. 3,000 mass killed each. That's a big yikes. 10,000 mass killed for some TMLs. How many mercies would you actually need to kill a pillar? Because this is a pretty expensive ball of pillars. The only thing I'd be wondering, if this is me, is if it's actually worth using the mercies to kill this, when you could farm them with the GC for a little bit more health. Remember, the GC gets like an additional 10,000 health when it gets enough mass killed. It might be worth killing them with the GC for free, as long as the attack moves and doesn't walk in and take damage. No! It was not necessary to do this. Well, he has the harbs to support, but he took basically 10,000 damage there unnecessarily. Will Kailyns dodge this time? Will he dodge that fire? That's the question. It's almost possible to dodge like 70-80% of Ravager fire. No, it doesn't look like he's dodging any of it. Just strolling in there. I don't think he's even going to break the shields, but he's going for the ACU. He's actually really close here. ACU ducks under another shield. The GC gets taken down. I'm not even sure if it would have been worth killing the ACU at that point. We've got Rambo boys on the front. A big air fight happens over the top. That goes Troll Noob's way. The right-hand side of the map is entirely static. This is just not moving at all. I don't know why. At least they're rebuilding the mexes. That's a positive. And Percivius goes for a Fat Boy. Now, a Fat Boy is almost never worth making in multiplayer, in my opinion, because it gets countered so easily by just a few Tech 2 RTs. However, your boy Kailyns down here has 0 Tech 2 RT, and if you can keep it hidden, and it's revealed immediately, he would be able to essentially... Oh, purple out of shield. They could TML him. He's sitting outside the shield. Is he on a patrol route? Is that what he's done? Right? Is he just patrolling? Feels like he is. But that's a very dangerous thing to do. To sit outside a shield like that at like 50% HP with your ACU at 35 minutes. Like a couple of strats could have just turned up and killed him immediately. But hey, it doesn't matter. We've got a big bank of power storage up here. Another here. Where's the power storage for Team 2? Because they lost it, right? Oh no, it was the top team that lost it. Ras for Percivius. I probably would have liked to see him with the shield, really, if he's going to stay at the front. I mean, he could always go and hide in the water. That would actually be quite funny. Go in the water and build a SAM. Looks like he's going to be working on this Fat Boy now. How long is that going to take him to make? The mass now, by the way, is actually quite even. Troll Noob, how are you doing for mass? Well, you are actually managing your economy quite well. Yen, also quite well. Percivius, well, he's got 25k in the bank. That means he can at least afford the Fat Boy, though. Kailyns, 35k in the bank. Delta, what an absolute god, 1k in the bank. And Lucas is dead. Of course he is. Now, when you're playing this game, if you're looking for tips of trying to get better, I highly recommend you try to make sure that you don't have huge amounts of mass in the bank. Obviously, you don't want to be overflowing mass off the top of your bar because that's wasted. But you also don't really want wasted mass. As in, mass that just sits here. Because any time that you're not using your mass to grow and expand, your opponent is. So you're falling behind every time you've got mass and storage like that. We have a Fat Boy on the right, and any second now we're going to have a Fat Boy on the left. So we're going to have a Fat Boy on each side. The game is a little static, so we'll speed it up a tiny bit. The Fat Boy not moving. We've got plenty of power here to push. A Ras ACU drops in the middle. I'm not sure why you would drop it there rather than just walking. Like, if you're going to do that, can't build a whole bunch of... to build a whole bunch of annoying stuff up there. We got strats, a large number of strats. Okay. We'll slow the game back down because we've got ASF screening. Strats coming for the middle. Where are they going? Well, that is a bomb command, and it's potentially on both ACUs. This is smart because they're running to power, and the power will detonate them both if they're not careful. I don't know if Delta saw that coming because he's an absolute god gamer. Whoa, but Kailyns gets taken out. Didn't see it or react fast enough. Bombs go straight through the shield. The power reacts there, and that is a very terrible looking position for Delta, who at 300 rated now finds himself facing 3 players that are all double his rating. He does have, he's at an eco disadvantage, but he's got plenty of ASF, he's got plenty of production, he's got some experimentals, he's got the GCs here, and a big supporting army with air support. He's got a fat boy on the right that he can deal with as well. I think actually putting the fat boy here with a bunch of SAMs would be fucking incredible because, sorry, if you put the fat boy here, right, he can duck into the water with it because it's technically submersible, and he can pop up and just shower the base. That would be a really brutal strat to deal with. He doesn't need to come up here with it because he can just shoot into the base. This is going to be a very big, scary engagement because this is where all the defenses are, and it's also going to be where all the push goes. All of those GCs walking in here. In come the gunships. Will he react with his own ASF? It looks like it. ASF entanglement over the top. What is this bunch of engineers doing here? You guys walked into the wrong neighborhood. Holy balls. One GC goes down. Second GC... If he came here and just focused the PD, he would have done better. It's unfortunate because he's just not firing with this move command. But the army will be firing. The fat boy is going to get crushed here to 2 GCs. That's very good for Delta. Kill PD. Yeah, a little bit late for that. You left them all up. You want to keep moving now. You're almost out of their range. Boop. Another GC goes down. Didn't perhaps bring enough flak. No, don't walk in here. That's it. Keep going now. You must keep going. Don't turn around. It's not worth it. Go for the comm, says Kailyns, who's very invested emotionally in this game. Look at that. He even did this move. He did this move. What a monster. That's great. I love this move. Here comes the GC. TML. That's not going to help. The GC is going to stroll in here. There's no response from the blue team. Where are their units? Where are their bombers? Why are they not using their strats and gunships? Building a Ravager. My dude. Troll noob. He ducks under the shield, which is going to keep him alive for just a little bit longer. Anti-nuke goes down to the GC. Percivius has this TML, but it's useless. If he was not stalling E, he might have survived this. Down goes Troll Noob and Percivius at the same time to that unit split. This is pathable? Oh my god, what is this mess? I didn't see that one coming. A crab is going to defend that though. And we are down to a 1v1 at 41 minutes. We have 689 rated Yen versus 297 rated Delta Elite. Things are looking terrible for Yen right now. He's got a crab, but he could lose his whole airbase. He could lose everything. I think he's going for the ACU right now. He might get it. It's going to be close. He's just got a move command, but it's not an ACU priority. The death nuke of the GC takes out half the air grid. Why are they going for storages? There are a lot more valuable targets splitting this up. The crab turns the other way, though, to focus on this incoming mess. Is this PGen going to blow up? It looks like it will. That takes down all the shields. Another Fat Boy, but the Fat Boy walks straight into Ravager Fire. Fat Boy, please. That's a very derpy Fat Boy. And both players bruise each other. Well, really, Delta just bruised Yen. But the eco is still absolutely dead even, really. For what I think for what the players are really capable of utilizing, it's kind of dead even. We've got spiders being a whole bunch of spiders. So Yen has now got 1k eco. He's overflowing 500 mass. He needs hives everywhere. He needs all of his factories. He needs to turn all of these on and use them to make T3 engineers for a while. And when they're done that, he needs to queue up something massive. T3 RT, just whatever. At this point, make units. Build a huge line of T3 factories and tell them all to make bricks. This Harb has 14,000 mass killed. And I have a feeling it's going to get even more. 19,000 mass killed. Yen, please. What happened? He made a bomber to deal with it, and the bomber died to the power explosion. Oh no. 21,000 mass killed. 22,000 mass killed. I think the crab is going to come and end it, but that is the MVP of your game today. It's going to be this Harb. 23,000 mass killed. What an absolute beast. We got a spider and a crab. More spiders, more crabs. What is Delta working on? Well, he's almost finished a YOLO. That's what he's been doing with his mass. Not a bad decision since, you know, he's actually still overflowing mass. Please make more T3 engineers. Queue up more experimentals. Turn all the factories on. Now he's saying to build shields. Yeah, shields are good too around that. Has that been scouted by Yen? Yes, it has. He knows about the YOLO. But, his team haven't really pinged it. We've got shields and power. Sensible. A big scout wave there goes out. There's a lot of experimental build-up. A nuke launch given. No reclaim for Yen, but he's overflowing mass. He's 800 mass. Please, you've got to queue up more stuff. We're going to have an artillery here. Does he still have an anti-nuke after he got ravaged? He's got one here. Two here. So he's got two anti-nukes. You can survive one nuke. One nuke he can survive. GC down here. And Yelona Os. So it's going to be a Yelona Os versus a T3 RT and an experimental push. Now the positioning of the ACUs here is going to be really important. Cloaking, is Yeno stalling E? No, he's not. He's still overflowing. He's still just not spending any of his mass. Please make more T3 engineers. You just need to make T3 engineers. If you find yourself overflowing mass like this in a late stage game, what you need to do is immediately make nothing but T3 engineers. Just make engineers out of everything. Use those engineers to build more factories until you get to a point where you're spending the mass, and then you can do something else. That is a very large block of T3 engineers, so that is working. It looks like he targeted the ACU with a ground fire command, but the ACU is going to move, and that's actually not good because he wanted the ACU to be here for his push. The ACU retreating inside the base is actually bad for Yen. So I'm not sure if it was a good idea to do that. He might have been better off just targeting the power and the air grid here. Maybe to try and take down the shields. I think the spiders have been spotted. It would be much better if he pushed. He's got to go because he's going to lose his whole base. ACU is on the run. Very sensible. Does that super nuke? Wherever it is. That's going to cost him his base. One anti-nuke, two anti-nukes. There are no more anti-nukes loaded. Five spiders and a crab. They really need to be on a move command to just go all in right now. He's got to go all in. The artillery, well, he might as well be firing the artillery at the YOLO. He's not going to get it, but this would be great. Imagine if he'd targeted here. He could have potentially killed the ACU if he'd just put ACU priority. Or if he'd targeted on the air grid, he could potentially, if this is naked, there's zero upgrades on this ACU that give health. A single P-gen does like 6,000 damage. He could have killed him with P-gen explosions. This push is massive. I think the GC is just dies here. It depends how much the GC can do. There's the second YOLO nuke. Where is that going? Why is his ACU moved back here? That doesn't make any sense. He's getting stuck on his engineers. He's got to get out. He's... Dude, the nuke's coming. You gotta... He got stuck on all his engineers. I don't know why he moved back when he was safe. He's moved right back into the nuke. It's going to land practically on his head. It's going to be a small delay. He starts to scath this. Can he outrun the explosion? No, he can't. Surely not. There he goes. He dies. His push was winning them the game. Even with the YOLO bomb. If he hadn't have lost his ACU there, he wins immediately. This push, I don't think there's anything that Delta can do to stop it. He doesn't have any PD. He needed to make PD everywhere. He just doesn't have anywhere near enough. So that is he got stuck on his units right at the end. And look at this in chat. So unlucky. I'm not sure it was luck. Rematch. Let's go. Let's go for a rematch. I would watch a rematch of these guys. You never know what's quite going to happen. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Play us out, royalty-free keyboard cat.